Hey everybody, coming to you at about 24 hours after one of my favorite moments of every season. It is the release of next year's schedule. No joke, we start like planning hotels already. Some of these cities, it's a little bit crazy to find a good rate, find somewhere near the ballpark where you can stay. So when that comes out, beat writers, we all look at it and go, what's our travel looking like next year? Where are we starting the year? Where are we finishing the year? Are there any horrible trips? When do we potentially go to New York? When do we go to San Diego? And yeah, where can you stay in some of these cities? San Diego, like you can stay right by the ballpark. Can you get in there before all the Giants fans figure out when they'll be there? But an important day for beat writers, but I think a big day for the organization as well. And I did want to touch on some of the highlights from next year's schedule, which came out yesterday on Tuesday, August 26th. We're way ahead of next season, but this is what we'll be dealing with next year. These are places where I will be filming YouTube videos next year. Before that, two quick things. I will be doing a book signing on Thursday, August 28th at Oracle Park after the game against the Cubs, about 30 minutes after that game. Hope to meet you guys there. Some of you guys there, I know I've met a lot of podcast listeners, readers, watchers, YouTube watchers at the ballpark already. I've signed some books for them, but would love to meet some people there. And if you need a book sign, easy place to find me at the Dugout store there at the ballpark on Thursday. Also on Thursday morning, Big Giants Talk podcast. Bryce Eldridge is the guest. I went up to Sacramento, sat down with him for about half an hour, and didn't want to, not worried about September 1st call-ups. Didn't want to get into that. Wanted to ask him about his childhood. Wanted to ask him about growing up and how he became this guy who we all expect to be a big part of the Giants for the next 10, 15 years, and how he handles all that, the expectations. Went back to his Little League days, his first home run, his time with Team USA, growing up in Virginia. He told a great story about watching Brandon Belt's game-winning home run in 2014 in the 18th inning. He was still awake. He was young. He tells some of those stories, and I go, "Oh, you are really, really young because you're talking about how young you were in 2014 when I was covering that game." But anyway, it was a fun interview. I hope you learned a lot about Bryce. Check that out on Thursday's Giants Talk podcast. We're also going to go over the schedule with Cole, but wanted to touch on a few things here. The main thing, the important thing, Giants were literally the lead paragraph of Major League Baseball's schedule release because they're hosting opening night. It's not opening day, it's next March 25th. It's a Wednesday night. MLB's doing this again, a Wednesday night opener, and it is the Giants hosting the New York Yankees. Aaron Judge, Arson Judge, Stanton. I don't know if Volpe's still going to be the shortstop. All those dudes. A lot of storylines. Camilo Doval coming back to Oracle Park potentially. We'll see how his offseason goes. Um, Carlos Rodon pitching at Oracle for the first time since he was a Giant. Garrett Cole could be back. I don't know if he will. He said he would have a 14-month recovery from having Tommy John. He had that at the beginning of March, so it's going to be close. But if everything goes well, potentially Garrett Cole back in the rotation for the Yankees. I don't think he will, but still, Giants Yankees to start the year. That is a big deal. It leads to a very weird first week. Bob Melvin's first reaction to the schedule when he saw it was, "Oh, there's no break. It's spring training. They come back home for exhibition games at Oracle Park. That opponent is to be determined, and then they go right into a Yankees game. But they do have a break after the first game. They're off the second day of the season. They're off the first Sunday of the season. So it's a weird first week, but Giants Yankees, I think, is going to be a huge deal next year to kick things off. And obviously, they don't open at home. They traditionally ask to open on the road so they can have more dates during the summer when kids are out of school. I think the business side probably not thrilled that the Yankees, who sell out every game, are going to be there for the opening weekend when the Giants would sell out anyway. So not really getting a boost there, but whatever. One year they can deal with it. They can handle that for one season. But yeah, they traditionally like to start on the road. They have started on the road every year since 2009, with the exception of 2022. That was only because of the lockout, which messed with the schedule at the last second, and they ended up starting at Oracle Park. So you go back to a time when Tim Lincecum was their opening day starter, the last time that they opened a season at Oracle Park. So nice that they're changing it up. Maybe that'll change the vibes. Maybe this whole not making the playoffs thing and going in the tank in the second half and winning 78 to 81, 82 games, whatever. Maybe that'll change because they open at home, and maybe they'll just be opening at home all the time. But that'll be fun. I think obviously will be a huge deal nationally, and then they go to San Diego after that, and they come home and face the Mets. So a couple New York teams right off the bat. The Padres, who are always good. The Phillies coming in after that. Tough start to the season, but again, they played better baseball at the start of the year this year than at the end. So maybe that's a positive. Some other things that stood out. Something that was really dumb this year was they didn't play the Dodgers until June 13th. That's not how it should be. Giants Dodgers. You can make the argument they should open against the Dodgers every year. Just Just do it. Just get out of the way. Rivalry games. They will finish their season at home against the Dodgers next year. They will also host them in April. They will see them in May. They'll visit Dodger Stadium, so they get those series out of the way. They visit the Padres right away, so they get that out of the way. They have a weekend series of Petco in July. Cole and I have already been texting. That feels like, weekend at Petco in the middle of the summer. I know he's going to be there. I know I'm going to be there. It's a trade deadline. Maybe we do a Giants Talk meetup or something like that. I think that's going to be a fun one. And then this one stood out to me because this is how I think. Everyone saw the Baltimore, Cincinnati, Washington, D.C. trip and went, "That's horrible." You're in Baltimore. Instead of driving to Washington, D.C., you fly to Cincinnati, then fly back to the DMV area and face the Nationals. So a very weird scheduling quirk there. But Bryce Eldridge should be on this team. He's from Vienna, Virginia. He grew up a Nationals fan. He grew up about 30 minutes from Nationals Park, about an hour 15 from Camden Yards. So, assuming he's on the team, that is two series in April back home for Bryce, and I think that'll be a big deal and a cool thing for his family members and friends who got to watch him a little bit in Richmond the last couple of years, but should get to go see him in the big leagues pretty early next season. Another thing that stood out just from a competitive standpoint, Giants have grumbled a little bit the last couple of years about some of these three city trips, some of the East Coast travel, some of the coming home after East Coast games. It's not that bad next year. From a competitive standpoint, a couple three city trips. One of them is Los Angeles, Sacramento, Phoenix. That's easy. That's about as easy as it gets when you're talking about a 10 gamer. And then another one, Colorado, Milwaukee, Chicago. People in the Midwest know you can drive from Milwaukee to Chicago. You can stay. I think some beat writers have stayed in Chicago when covering a game in Milwaukee because, you get the morning in Chicago by the lake. It's nice in the summer. So that'll be an easier one as well. And then this one obviously stands out. Rafi Devers returning to Boston on August 21st. He has 92 career home runs, 519 career regular season games at Fenway Park. That is going to be a huge deal no matter what. Um, you can see the engagement on any Devers tweet from Boston people. We've talked about that on the podcast. It's going to be a big deal, and also maybe he'll face Kyle Harrison. We'll see what Jordan Hicks' future is there, but Kyle's been in AAA, and he should be part of the rotation mix next year. So maybe a double revenge game going on. But anyway, I thought the schedule, all in all, pretty good from a competitive standpoint for the Giants. Look pretty solid as they try to turn things around. From a fan media standpoint, the travel, the early interest, finishing up at home against the Dodgers, all looked interesting. Maybe something that interests the media much more than fans. But I hope a lot of you guys are at the games. I hope to meet you at some of the games. I know I see you guys at airports and visiting ballparks. So now you know. Plan your schedule. Get ahead of those when those get ahead of this and get ahead of those hotel rates surging.